Alright, what is going on, people of the internet? A little while ago, people in the Discord and I were talking, and we were thinking about potentially doing another Ark server. And at the time, we were thinking about doing a pretty standard PvP Ark server, put it on the center. We'd gotten pretty far into the development of the server. We started pulling up a mod list, we started discussing rates, we all went around the map looking for what we wanted as a base spot. And out of nowhere, the Ark dev surprised everybody at E3, debuting the brand new Ark Ragnarok map, partnering with some people who were making a new map in the Steam Workshop, and they released it. It's not complete, obviously, but I personally think it's a pretty incredible map, and while I don't believe it has much of a place in PvP, due to rather sparse resource spawns, unlike the center, where there's a large culmination of metal, and pretty much everywhere you would go in as well as that in the island, I think it's a wonderful server for doing PvE on, because there's so much more room and it's so much more atmospheric than any other map that we've had. Maybe even more atmospheric than something like Scorched Earth, which you can say what you want about that map, but when you're hiding inside of a adobe shack while there's some storm raging outside, it's kind of a really cool feeling. But back to the point, Ragnarok is probably my favorite map, which is kind of funny to say now because when I was originally starting out on that map, I hated it. The creatures spawn at such high levels that I was getting killed every 2 seconds by something that shouldn't have been there. The recommended area has alpha raptors spawning in it permanently, it feels like, and it's a very dangerous map, but as soon as you get going, it's incredible. And we all kind of talked about this in the Discord, and we decided that it might be a good idea, instead of doing a PvP center server, to try switching over to doing a Ragnarok server with PvE. People really took to that idea, and we started talking about, whoa, this would be a really cool spot to build. The highlands look amazing. There are all these ancient ruins. There's all this cave stuff that you'd never even seen before on any other map like it. And we decided that we would try out a Ragnarok server, and that had been going for the past 3 or 4 weeks, I'd say. We used it kind of as a beta testing server. Originally, it was supposed to be opened out to the public, but because it had gone on for so long, we thought it would be better just to wipe it and give people who had played on the server before an opportunity to transfer some of their dinosaurs that they had tamed as a reward for them helping us out so much on that last server and seeing what mods and what rates worked. And we actually came up with the following rates, and it's very obscure, but I really enjoyed it. 1 times XP, 4 times gathering, 10 times taming, and 12 times raising. It's pretty common for Ark servers to all have one rate across the board, so a 20-20-20 server, a 100-100-100, or even a 3-3-3. But these are all fine-tuned so that it's not wasting your time on pointless game mechanics like knocking a dinosaur out, sitting beside it for 14 hours, and then waiting for it to wake up just so you can have a dinosaur. You spend the better part of your time focusing on your character and what you can do better. The gathering at 4 times is quite fair, especially being on a PvE server where you're not forced to grind metal all day, all night for auto turrets and bullets. And you're not going to be spending a lot of time taming creatures because of the 10 times taming. The 12 times raising fits in quite nicely because anything that's higher than a direwolf, including a direwolf, you'll pretty much always get 100% imprinting on, barring some obscene roll where it takes like 5 hours to the next imprint. And most of your time is going to be spent leveling up your character, which is something that is kind of lost on a lot of Ark players. And when we were originally talking about it, a lot of people were suggesting 5 times, 10 times XP, and I wanted 1. And a lot of people thought I was crazy for it, and we eventually settled on 2. But myself being me, I went into the server files as soon as we were starting out the server and set it to 1 times and didn't tell anybody. And the results and the feedback were quite positive. People actually said that it was nice not having to just pick up a single rock and getting to level 100. That there's actual progression and that you're limited to your options, and you have to actually think about what the best thing at your level would be. You're not wondering, how can I get an auto turret or how can I get a metal base the fastest? You're wondering about, how can I get the most effort out of my parasaur? How can I get the most effort out of this trike? How can I get the most effort out of this raptor? And I think it's a lot more fun to play Ark that way than on incredibly high rate servers. as I had mentioned, it kind of culminates into a greater experience where things that are more monotonous, like taming and raising dinosaurs, don't take very long, and you have more time to spend on your own character, and you want to spend more time on your own character because the XP, it's not low by any means. When I played on the server that we were testing on, I got to level 80 within a week, but I did put a lot of effort into getting the levels that I needed to in order to help my tribe. But I think it honestly came out to be a much better experience. If you followed the channel for any amount of time, and you'd seen any of my albeit failed server attempts in the past, you'll probably note that everything that I tried to do is different. I never want one Ark server that resembles the thousands of others that are out there already. I don't want a server that's just a 20-20-20, and raids aside, something else has to be different for me to think it's a good idea to upload to Ark a server that people would actually have a reason to play on, rather than just an official one, or rather than just a random unofficial one that sprung up a couple of days ago. In that theme, the server is centered around bi-weekly or even weekly events that take place on the weekends. In our beta testing for the server, we had done 2 already. One was a parkour tower that took about an hour to get to the top, and if you talk to many of the people who did it, they'd say it was one of the most infuriating and painful experiences of their entire life, myself included, and that's why it was probably my favorite of the 2. The second one was a horse racing event, which was a more simplified run around a track 3 times, and you'll be rewarded with your prizes for the different places. The events will differ in the way that they're presented, but for the most part, you're going to be working in your tribe, which per rules is limited to 5 people. Sometimes there'll be free-for-all events where everybody's kind of out for themselves, like the parkour tower was, but usually it's going to be that you're delegating one person, or you're having to work in a team of 5 in order to make sure that you have your best showing possible at that event to try and win some prizes. So, for example, on the last server, we had a pair of level 300 mantises that were up for grabs, when normally the highest level that you could get wild, at least, was at level 150. Sometimes these dinosaurs will have different colors, sometimes you'll be getting rarer quality weapons and blueprints. I don't know. I'm not in charge of this. We're leaving that up to our event coordination staff, and it should be quite exciting. For mods, we had to talk a little while about this because while you do want to add more mods in order for there to be a better experience and something separate from Ark, and mods are a great way to customize your experience, we don't want to add too many because, of course, there are people who don't have really great computers and are already struggling to play Ark in the beginning. So we thought about adding more quality of life mods more than anything else. Most of them have to do with building, or they'll have to do with customizing your characters or something like that. Eventually we came to the conclusion that we would be using the following mods: S+, Paint Mixer, Versatile Rafts, Re-useable Plus, Crystal Clear, Re-usable Scorched Earth, Platforms Plus, Better Milk, Eco RP Decor, Eco Scorched Earth Decor, No Collision Structures, and I believe we'll also be adding Eco's Stables mod, and there was some talk about Keeps, Castles, and Architecture mod. This list is subject to change. By the time that I'm recording this video, the server is obviously not up yet, and we will probably be adding mods, so check the description or check our website that one of our admins had put together. They'll be featuring the mod list, the taming rates, every single thing that you could ever consider about the server, and it'll be in the description or on the website. So if you're having issues connecting to the server, odds are you probably need to install another mod or verify integrity of game cache, which you can do through Steam. The rules of the server are pretty basic. The only thing that really I want to enforce, aside from not using unnecessary language, of course, is that if for any reason we ever have to switch the server to PvP for an event, so we want to do like a paintball event where if you get shot by a rifle and you die, that we'd have to switch on PvP for that, obviously. If you're caught raiding somebody, or if somebody has evidence to suggest that your tribe has demolished structures or has destroyed something pertaining to somebody else's tribe, there'll be no hearing. If you're caught doing PvP, when the server is switched on to PvP for an event, that is an insta-ban. And I will hear no arguments about that. Discord is going to be our central link to the player base. If you ever have issues on the server, and that's fine, You can try messaging the chat, but odds are you're going to have much better luck finding an admin to help you if you go through our Discord. We're not asking anybody to be active on it if they don't want to be. If you want to hop in chat, say hello, play some games with us, that's fine. But it's not going to be a requirement that you have to be on the Discord if you want to participate on this server. It's going to be a better experience, obviously, because you'll be able to communicate with people better through Discord than you would be able to using Ark's very primitive messaging system. But Discord is going to be our central link, and that's kind of the whole synopsis of our server. I'm really excited for this one. I want to see how it does. I'm hoping that we can have some active people on it. If not, I don't know if I'm ever going to be trying to do any kind of Ark content anymore. I've tried a lot of servers in the past and none have really worked out, but I'm optimistic about this one, and I'm hoping that we're all going to have a lot of fun. So I hope to see you on the server, hope to see you on the Discord, and I'll see you in the next episode of whatever we make. I say that like there's anything coming. Anyway, peace.